This time on Low Boost, we start installing the Fitech EFI kit on our 1953 Ford F100 pickup truck. All right, so slowly but surely, we are making some progress on the F100. Been doing a bunch of other stuff, getting things ready. But as the winter's approaching, we're gonna have a lot of time to work on cars because we're not gonna be driving it. So we did the intake manifold, and now we're gonna do the water pump and the front drive accessories to kind of get the whole front of the motor squared away, and then run some lines and hoses. So first we're gonna do the water pump. I think what we're gonna do is put a little bit of our gasket maker just around these two here, just to make a good seal, and use the gasket as well, just a little bit. And then we'll put the water pump on, so let's get going. We're gonna start putting some of the stuff on with the Fitech EFI kit. They come with a really nice gasket. They came with two of them, but I think we just picked the one that fits the best and then put it on. And we got some nice bolts and fasteners here over the gasket, and we're gonna put each of them down and then torque them down to spec. What's cool with this though is that it's got everything you need to get everything set up, and it's all in the computer that's actually in this unit right here. So we're excited to actually get started on this. I'll show you guys all of the wiring and everything that goes into getting this thing started, ready, fired up, because it is all a one-stop shop. You can get everything done. So make sure you guys hit that subscribe button to follow along. So we got the water pump bolts on. Put the headers on as well. Got this really nice valve covers, engine breather, making our way through. If you guys hadn't picked up before, we did the swap with a Ford Crown Victoria. Have a full video on it here. It has a Backyard Customs Ford Crown Victoria swap kit. So this has full coilover suspension in the front, and with disc brakes and everything. Obviously, we still gotta do some, we're gonna get new brake calipers and rotors and stuff. It's gonna paint it up and make it look all nice. But these are actually off of a 2005 Mustang. They're the same ones that are on my Mustang, exact same ones. Same wheels and tires, and they fit on just fine. So we are looking forward to seeing how the truck is gonna shape up. So what's pretty cool with the Fitech is I know it looks like a jumble of wires and it's all crazy, but everything is labeled out pretty well. So this is your coolant temperature sensor, which is right there, and stuff like this. It's already got really nice heat shielding on it. This looks like an O2 sensor. And then you got these pin connectors here, which actually go to harness A, that's shown in figure 7, which is right here. We have all that, and that goes inside the car. And there's really not a whole lot to plug in on this thing before you actually have to fire it up, so it's pretty cool. So just as it says in the manual here, you have harness A that's got the fuses here, the plugs, and it's pretty well labeled. So you have stuff like this for your coil, key, tack signal, and what's this yellow one here? What's the yellow one say? Fan. Does it say fan? Fan T. So I'm assuming fan 1. So that's your fan trigger. So that's gonna trigger your fan. And then on this side, you got two thicker wires. This goes directly to the battery, and that looks like the fuel pump. Now, depending on your application, you want to double check, and I'll double check on here, but with every EFI system, some of these fuel pumps, if you're not running a lot of amps, you don't need to run a relay. But I think just because this is going to be at least 350, 400 horsepower, maybe more, because it's a 408 stroker, we're going to run a separate relay to the fuel pump that draws right from the battery. So this wire will function as a trigger, and then the trigger will draw off of a 30 amp relay or whatever we deem to go with to actually power the fuel pump, because the fuel pump's gonna have to be pretty good. And I have a Walbro 525 lying around here somewhere, but this kit also comes with a fuel pump, which is great. So we're gonna use that. I think the single hardest thing we're gonna run into with this is, take a look at that firewall. Firewall is beautiful. We don't wanna touch it. the hardest part here is going to be getting all this wiring into the car and where it all has to go without putting anything on the firewall. So we are going to walk you along that process because it's going to be arduous, but I think it's going to pay off when it's all done because it's going to look super clean. There isn't a hole.
I think we could drill right through the firewall.
I don't want to drill through the firewall.
You won't see it.
Lou will have you, he'll have you hung. So, I mean, we have this hole here, but that's too far in. I think what we might have to do is, there are some spots here and in the firewall right there. Like right here, right there is where it comes down on the inside where there's a panel. So we could run everything to there and up and in. All right, so what I did, and you guys can tell me if this is crazy or not, but I tucked everything underneath the intake manifold and running it out the back. I feel like that's just gonna be the easiest way to keep that front of the engine bay really clean like that. I know we're gonna have some heat stuff going on with it, but I don't think it's gonna get too hot under there to melt anything. It's gonna be all around the rest of the engine anyway, and it's not near the headers. Then I'm gonna run everything back straight down. This plug goes into one of the plugs in the back there, which I have right down here. I covered it in some black shroud, and I'm not gonna run it straight across. I'm actually gonna run it down and back and over. That way you don't see any of the wires, or nearly any of the wires, coming out. And then I'm gonna run it back through here and into the firewall. And the yellow wire is going to the fan, so I'm gonna run that along the inside of the fender well over, because the fan's gonna be right here. This thing is so easy to work on. I mean, look, I got the fuel pump wire already ran. I mean, not really, but I'm gonna tie it down. But as you can see, running everything underneath this car, there's so much space. And everything's so brand new because it's completely redone. It's actually a pleasure to work on it. So got these wires down here. Now, obviously they have to go to the front of the car, but because we're tucking it, I'm gonna bring it back here and over just to kind of keep it away from stuff. So I might actually tuck it back and through there and then go in. That way you won't see it from the outside. Fitech also has an awesome digital display, but you also have to run it into the car as well. Comes with an awesome cable kit that runs off the back, and I'm gonna run it down the same way I ran the other stuff through the back of the car, or underneath the firewall. If you're into this kind of stuff, make sure you hit the subscribe button. I upload a video every week about cars, whether it's the car we're working on now, my dad's F100 pickup truck. I have a BMW E36 Turbo LS swap. I also got a 66 Mustang that I'm putting a 302 in, and this is my dad's 1967 Chevelle. So we got a bunch of old stuff, new stuff, all cars. If you're into that kind of stuff, hit the subscribe button. So that's about all we're gonna work on today with the Fitech. Just getting started running the wires and hooking everything up. But I am gonna be doing a full breakdown of the entire installation and startup. So if you guys are interested in learning about the Fitech EFI system, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button, because I'm gonna do the entire thing from spark plugs to fuel pump to timing, ignition, everything. So make sure you guys follow along. Thank you guys very much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.